Nothing in this podcast is intended as investment advice, and the people in this podcast may hold positions in the stocks they talk about. Do not buy any investment based solely on a tip or recommendation. Please do your own research.
Hello and welcome to the Midweek Takeaway. I'm Phil Carroll, and today we're joined by Alex Stanbury, CEO of Technology Minerals. Welcome back, Alex.
Good morning, Phil.
Now, before we take a deep dive into the Tech Minerals assets, let's talk about the recent update on the exploration campaign at Leinster in Ireland. It looks like the exploration programme is advancing well and target areas are being identified, plus samples have been taken.
Yeah, absolutely. This is our southern licence, PL 1597 in Leinster. We are undertaking a deep overburden sampling programme at the moment using augers, and the results coming back are extremely good. We're both sort of running very tight lines on this at the moment. Basically, we found spodumene in a dry stone wall there and wanted to follow it up, and have since found more, and are now mapping the area to find out sort of really the size, scope and scale of the spodumene bearing pegmatites. And it's been extremely interesting, not only from the material that we found, but the variation of the material we found, which meaning sort of there's various sources of spodumene there as well. So it means it really could be quite large, which is very exciting for us. So yeah, lots of ongoing work, and really it's aiming at doing a drill program for next year.
Yeah. So here we are 1 year on it. I believe it's an anniversary, isn't it, since the IPO? I mean, firstly, congratulations on getting through that first year, which has obviously had its challenges along the way. But I think you'd agree that the company are in a much better position now than they were when they IPO'd, right? Do you want to talk us through some of the achievements so far on your anniversary? Sure,
absolutely. Yes, it's been a good year. It has had its challenges. The share price is not where we want it to be, and not where we think it should be. Especially, I mean, we have certainly achieved a lot this year. We built 2 recycling plants that are now sitting ready. As you know, one outside Tipton, which is the lead acid, and one outside Wolverhampton, which is the lithium ion. We have the permitting for those, and we're just waiting for the variation of our licenses. However, on the Tipton site, we are now ready to actually start taking batteries, and first batteries are delivered tomorrow. So yeah, on our anniversary, we get our first processing of batteries there, which is very exciting, and that's will start the cash flow. And from there, we will ramp it up into constant flow of batteries going through, and hoping for the variation of our license in fairly short order, so that we can turn on the big machine and really ramp that process up. On the Wolverhampton site, we are still waiting for our variation. We're in constant dialogue with the EA, and we hope it won't be too much longer. It's a difficult process for them, we understand as well, because we are the first industrial scale lithium ion battery recycler in the country, and they're excited by what we're doing, as we are. So we're just going through process with them. In terms of our other assets that we've moved forward this year, we have our Idaho project, and we've sold 10% of that to a strategic for £900,000. We have another 20% of it under option for 1.8 million, which we hope will be converted early next year. And on the back of that could well be a secondary transaction. That remains to be seen, obviously. And then on Spain, where we're chasing a historic resource, we've been getting very nice results out of there. In fact, we've got some fresh results back this week, which are currently being assimilated and modelled, and we're expecting to put those out in the next week or so. So stay tuned. But it's all looking very positive down there. We had Energold down there looking at drill access, etc., and sorting out a drill program for us for next year. So there's lots of good progress to be made, and the results, as I said, that we've had back so far and that we've actually announced have all been extremely positive. And we're currently in discussions with some larger players about joint venturing that out as well. But in the meantime, we'll continue to push it up the value curve in the most capital-light fashion that we can, whilst kind of proving up the resource that we know is there. And then with Cameroon, as you know, we had a bit of difficulty earlier in the year because of the way that the Cameroon licenses were sitting within our company. So we've now set up a new co down there, are in the process of transferring those licenses. So we're hoping to be able to announce some good news on those in fairly short order, but I'll have to come back to you on that one. And then Oakama, we own 15% of in South Dakota. We're currently static on that project, and we'll kind of review what we're going to do in South Dakota in due course. And I think that's it really on the major assets. And then we've obviously got our lithium-ion battery box business as well, which is in our view industry leading. Those are our ADR compliant boxes that allow you to transport lithium-ion batteries in any state of charge, and if they're unsafe as well. And if they should catch fire, if there's a thermal runaway event, it stops contagion. So and they're modular as well, so you can just replace bits in them. They're very clever. And we're hoping to ramp up sales of those early in the new year. We're in discussions with some major OEMs and franchise dealers, etc., about selling those and putting them on all their lots. Some of them want different shapes and sizes, so we're having to have discussions around that. But the feedback is extremely positive, so we think that should be a nice driver of revenue for next year.
And the exciting thing about basically taking over 100% of Recyclist, this is obviously a big step forward for Teck Minerals to wholly own this situation now in terms of the recycling of the both lead acid and lithium-ion batteries. I mean, how's that going to change the financial landscape of Teck Minerals in terms of its revenue and ability to produce profit?
Absolutely. It's hugely exciting, and it really sort of helps us on our two-track strategy of extraction and recycling. And it means that Recyclers is no longer classed as just an investment for Technology Minerals, but actually as part of the group now, which means all the cash flow runs through the group in a consolidated fashion. So Recyclers is extremely cash generative, or will be extremely cash generative, and all of that cash will flow through Technology Minerals. So I think it's very good news for all of us. Yeah,
and I mean, I think the market, I don't know, really grasped this whole Recyclist deal. But those guys paid over 4p a share, was it? 4.25p, was it? I don't know. I don't remember the exact number, but 4 point something Teck Minerals share. And we're currently sitting at 1.35p.
Yes, I think, I think both boards feel that Recyclers is currently sitting within TM1's portfolio extremely undervalued. When the deal was struck by both boards, some of the parts valuation was done on Recyclers and on TM1, and in our opinion, with literally a zero upside and discounting it as much as we could, it came to over 4p. Obviously, we feel the actual fair share price is an awful lot higher than that, but that was on a pre-revenue basis, and with discounting an awful lot of upside and including quite a lot of risks.
Yeah, I mean, when the whole thing is put together, I think Teck Minerals is going to have north of 2 billion shares in issue, and currently priced at 1.35. So you're talking about an overall valuation of £30 million or thereabouts, which seems ludicrous for a business that I think when these two sites get operational could actually, will do more than that in revenue. Whether that's profit is another matter, but will do more than that in revenue. And more than likely, based on the different assets we've talked about, I mean, you can value Black Creek property at £9 million on its own if you sold 10% for 900,000, and you've got an option to sell another 20% for £1.8 million. So there's half of your current market cap in terms of what it stands at 18 million. So the whole thing really is just an amazing mismatch at this moment in time. And I don't think the market has truly got it after a year. I don't think the market gets how cash generative this business is going to be. And that was before you even discovered that you're going to make money from the boxes as well, the transport boxes, which is a complete new deal from when you launched a year ago, because that wasn't in existence. So for you, I want you to get excited, Alex.
Absolutely. I'm hugely excited. I'm a little frustrated at times, but hugely excited. Yeah, we came to market at 27 million, and an awful lot of that value was made up of our mining assets. And since then, we've built two recycling plants at really at quite low cost, and both have got our own IP on them. So yeah, and as you say, they're going to be hugely cash generative, and there is a definite mismatch. And I'm looking forward to the market understanding that and rectifying it, because it's as you say, a market cap where it sits today is a total mismatch. But
so with the intention of having 5 lead acid and 5 lithium ion plants in the future, eventually, do you think there'll be a case of once EA is done on both the first two plants that it will follow quicker for the next successive plants?
Absolutely, yes. I think where we're at now is that we will be looking for joint ventures off these shores as well. So as well as building plant 2 here immediately, we'll be looking immediately to branch out into Europe and the US as well. Exactly.
And I mean, from a position a year ago to now, how are the outputs valued? You know, what you're going to create from the lead acid battery and the lithium battery. Has the price of the output, what you're creating, gone up in the last year?
On the lead side, lead is an age-old industry, and it's attached to LME. So your margins end up being fairly stable, because what you pay for, extra in the batteries, you get extra on the back end, and vice versa. Should the price of lead dip, then your price on the back end will dip as well. So you're expecting to keep a fairly stable margin there. On the lithium ion, the cost of our feed, well, certainly on the front end, we get a gate fee for taking the lithium ion because we're solving a problem for people. That gate fee has remained fairly stable. And then on the back end, the price of black mass has fluctuated a bit, and there's a huge demand for it. So we're probably in a better position than we were a year ago. But it's a fairly stable market at the moment. It really depends on what your front end feedstock ends up looking like, because if you put in sort of nickel rich cathodes, rather than ones that are more evenly matched, you will end up getting more money for them. Depends if you batch process or whether you do it as a sort of cake mix, depending on what goes in. So that'll also depend on the off-taker and their specific requirements as to whether they want to see just NMC 111s or 811s going through, or whether they're happy for it to be mixed in with LCO or NCA or something like that.
So is that ongoing, that you have agreements with off-takers, or are they still to be signed, sealed and delivered? They're
still to be signed and sealed. The reason being, we get calls on a weekly basis from people wanting the black mass. The sale of the black mass is certainly going to be easy. It contains all the metals that are rare and in demand for batteries. So everyone wants them, and everyone wants to keep control of them. So you've got some people wanting to sell you provide the feedstock. And then take the black mass on the back end to make sure that they don't lose control of the metals. And you've got other companies coming and asking to buy all of the black mass that we can possibly produce as well. So that side is getting the sale of that material is not going to be difficult, but we can't sign anything until we're up and running. And at that point, we have our own in-house laboratories for doing sample testing and analysis of the metals when in the black mass. So we'll be able to provide them with the analysis, and then we can have a variation on depending on any variances and tolerances between what we've agreed and what they want.
And site 3 and 4 for these plants, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but do you have an idea where they're going to be? Do you know where they're going to be? You have planning permission for those type of things? What's the situation?
There's a couple of sites we've been looking at. One in the northeast and one in the northwest, and they are old industrial sites that have permits on them, so it would make the process a lot easier. And in terms of the actual licensing, so that's the permitting for the ground itself, and the licensing, which gives you the license to operate the business. We're hoping that once we've got Tipton and Wolverhampton out of the way, that it'll be a much easier process for us and for the environmental agency, because it becomes a cookie cutter approach.
Yeah, and in terms of like a sort of plug and play modular type solution in terms of the equipment, is it pretty easy once you've got the facility there to actually get these plants online?
Very, very quick indeed. Yeah, absolutely. We can build them and get them up and running in the space of about 4 months.
So really, the EA assessments is really the problem. This is what's holding everything up in terms of the financial situation within Tech Minerals. But that said, and obviously I'm quite sure the raise that you just did recently isn't something that you particularly wanted to do and wasn't in the business plan, I'm sure, a year ago, because you expected these things to be producing income now. That hopefully that's coming towards the end of the need to raise, because revenue is on the horizon. I'm assuming anyway.
Revenue is on the horizon, yes. In terms of raising, that remains to be seen at the moment. We want to expand, and we want to grow this company. And sitting where it's sitting at the moment feels like it's in the wrong place. We are undervalued and we are small, and quite frankly, at the moment we're a little bit too illiquid. None of these things should be the case for our business, which is extremely exciting and has incredible prospects. So we want to grow the business. We want to grow both sides of the business rapidly, and get this up to a market cap that is a multiple of where it is today.
Yeah, no, you should have a market cap when these two are operating, and the mining assets, in my view, of a couple of £100 million. I don't see why it shouldn't be at least that, which is 10 times what it is now, but obviously not 10 times once the shares hit from the recyclers thing. But it should be much higher.
Looking at our peers, I'd say that looking at our projected cash flows and our peers, I'd say you're right.
Yeah. So let's hope that a year on from now, on your second birthday, we'll have the same interview and it'll be a different discussion. There'll be many more plants either ongoing or already completed, and your cash flows will be growing exponentially, basically, because the other thing that we haven't really discussed at all in this is that the planet needs this. Like, if we don't sort these lithium batteries out, and the lead acid ones, but especially the lithium ones, then we're going to be in trouble, because there's going to be lithium batteries lying everywhere and they're going to poison the world.
Absolutely. It's hugely important. The stockpile of lithium-ion batteries at the moment are growing on a daily basis. There's certainly no one in this country that can process them, and there aren't that many people in the world that are actually managing to do it on a daily basis at the moment. The problem is here today. And if you look out on the roads and you sort of calculate the number of EVs driving around, and you actually look at what's coming down the road in very short order, we need this. We need it yesterday. So not only just the poisoning, but 50% of landfill fires now are caused by lithium-ion batteries that get slipped into bins because people don't know what to do with them. Your vapes, people's vapes are going into the bin, and they've got little lithium-ion batteries in them. Those are causing not only issues of leaching and landfill, but they're also causing fires as well, e-bikes, etc. And it's hard to blame the consumers at the moment, because they just don't know what to do with them. There's a lack of education, and then there's really a lack of a solution. We are obviously the solution, but we need to get up and running, as you know. So. Yeah. And it does mean that we've got an exciting time ahead, and we're very much looking forward to next year. There's an awful lot to achieve, and we're geared up for it. Yeah,
and in terms of the mining stuff, you're hitting all the hot areas. Cobalt, copper, nickel, cobalt, and nickel. I mean, those metals in general have gone bananas in the last 12 months. So there is big potential in all of those. You have no intention to mine them. So this is exploration to, get the start of the curve and get the most reward you can from those, and continue looking for more, I take it. Right. So, yeah, this is obviously also going to add. I mean, my view is your mining assets are worth probably more than your current market cap. So everything else is for free.
Absolutely correct, yes.
So that's
how we look at it as well.
Yeah, that's the current situation. So it's slight overhang maybe from the last raise, but even with that, really, there's no way that the market cap should be down here, as in my view. Anyway, that's for sure. But we will see. Myself and Phil are going to visit the two sites the end of next week. So we're hopefully going to be reporting on that maybe next week or the following week. And I'm sure as soon as you've got news out, I think you said there could be some news coming from Spain, then we'll talk again and discuss the valuations. Excellent. Look forward to it. And I hope you enjoy your site visit. I'm sure Robin will look after you well. Yep, let's hope so.
Alex Stanbury, CEO of Technology Minerals, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, guys. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you.
This podcast was brought to you by Roast PR Limited. If you would like to appear on a future episode of The Sunday Roast, please email admin@thesundayroast.net.